Devonta Smith is not going to put up big numbers in this offense. Am I wrong?
I thought he'd have a good year in spite of his or not his shortcomings, but Nick Sirianni's and Jalen Hurts's. But yeah, you're right, John. It's like we keep looking at what Jamar Chase has done and what Jalen Waddle's doing. Jalen Waddle is not in the best situation either between
that's true.
But he's got a lot of catches. I mean, to me, Devonta Smith has been okay. Hasn't been terrible. He's not a bust, but you see the potential there.
We got Mac and Mac here on Birds 365. We got the Eagles and the Lions on Sunday in Detroit Motor City. We'll get the insight of another Birds 365 host. He's here filling in whenever Johnny Mac can't do it. We're glad to have him today. We want to get his thoughts on Eagles, Lions. Jeff Kerr, CBSSports.com with us. All right, Mr. Kerr, you've had all week to think about the Eagles. We had you on Monday. Unfortunately, licking the wounds of the Raiders' loss in Vegas. Have things gotten better or worse for the Eagles since?
Well, it all depends how much you want to elaborate on the flower comments. I mean,
that's kind of what I was leaning toward. I needed your take on it.
I mean, for all you Beauty and the Beast fans out there, I consider the Eagles more of the rose where the petals keep falling than the flower that's growing. But that's just me. Overall, I try not to make too much fun of it, but you have to get your flower jokes in with this football team right now. They're a mess, and I know everybody's trying to play revisionist history this week with, what if they didn't trade Carson Wentz? And what if they would have hired Deuce Staley as their head coach? And, this and that. And I just keep looking at it. Look, they should beat this football team Sunday. Do I think they'll beat the Detroit Lions? I don't know, because Detroit's 0-7, and Jody, you and I have gone back and forth on this. They do play hard every game, and I'm a little more optimistic about the Detroit Lions than I am the Philadelphia Eagles right now.
Jody's down on the Detroit Lions. I'm with you, Jeff. I mean, they could have won 2 games. Obviously, they didn't. That's all that matters. But they have been playing hard for the most part. But I would say that for the Eagles as well. That's not one criticism I would give to either Nick Sirianni or Dan Campbell. But, I mean, the bottom line is both of these cities should have expected growing pains from, Dan has done it before as an interim guy. But, when it's your job and Nick Sirianni as a complete rookie head coach, I don't know. I mean, can we give the guy more than 7 games? Is that overreaction? I think, Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl, and I still shake my head today how quickly people turned on him. I remember writing after the Eagles won in Minneapolis. I said, all right, that's a lifetime dispensation card for Doug Peterson. I literally wrote that. I believed it at the time. I said, they've been waiting for this thing forever. 1960 first Lombardi trophy. They finally got it. I said, all right, this guy's good. A blank check. 3 years later, out the door. But I mean, if you want Doug Peterson fired, if you want Jim Schwartz fired, and everybody wants Howie Roseman fired, and then you're 7 games into the next head coach and you want him fired, and the next defensive coordinator, and you want him fired, you become the Cleveland Browns, and you want to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. You want 1968 to 2021 with 3 head coaches. That's the way you're a consistent winning team in the NFL. That's my opinion.
Yeah, my issue with the whole, you got rid of Doug Pearson, you got rid of Jim Schwartz, you got rid of Carson Wentz. Okay, fine. You should have just cleaned house and said how he's going to, and you should have just started from anew. But sometimes I have this feeling they brought in Nick Sirianni to fix Carson Wentz. But Carson Wentz didn't want to be fixed. Carson Wentz, at least here, he wanted to go where he was comfortable. And I don't blame him. It's his right. It's his right as an NFL player. He saw the dumpster fire that we all see and we all talk about every day. And he was probably like, okay, you know what? I need a change of scenery. I want to go back to the Midwest. He got his wish. Do I like how he did that? Probably not. But, he never said anything about it. I kind of hope he never does say anything about his time in Philadelphia, especially last year. But I would have gotten rid of Roseman, Pearson, and Wentz if you're going to do a clean slate. Not keep the guy who is partially responsible for the mess that has become. And you were already a week late into the coaching search anyway. Now, do I think Nick Sirianni is going to be a good head coach? I don't know. I don't like what I've seen through 7 games so far, but I'm willing to give him more than 7 games. But I got to tell you, John, around the league, when you hear overwhelmed, that's scary. Through 7 games already? I mean, things can change, but because I remember what they said about Doug Pearson's first year too, but you saw positive growth. You saw that flower blooming.
It's funny. We had Ricky Ricardo, voice of the Eagles, in Espanol earlier in the week, and he said in over their heads. That was the phrase that he used to describe the Eagle coaching staff, and I've seen at least 3 or 4 other media members go to that exact phrase since, more so after the flower commentary, but that's we've already talked about flowers, and John thinks we beat this to death, so I'll leave that one alone. Eagles on the road. Good thing or bad thing, Jeff Kerr? They've only won 2 games. Both of them came on the road. They seem to be better away from Lincoln Financial Field. If I tell you that's one of the reasons why I'm picking the Eagles, because they're not at home this week. Would you agree?
Well, I would agree with you until last week, but they do seem to play better on the road, and last week was just a train wreck. I mean, you can say the final score was 33-22 all you want till you blew in the face. It was 30-7 when I checked out that game and started writing all my stuff. But I think what the Eagles need to do here is get off to another fast start. And again, they did get off to a fast start last week, and then they decided to let Derek Carr complete anything across the middle of the field. So I don't know if Jared Goff will be able to do that. He is not on Derek Carr's level. By the way, guys, here's an interesting stat for you, and I really hope the Eagles don't change the narrative here. Jared Goff has never won a game in the NFL when Sean McVay is not his head coach. He's never won one. It's 0-13 or 0-14. And the Lions are on an 11-game losing streak dating back to last year. So I'm really hoping this doesn't change. I think for a team like Detroit, like the Eagles, they do play hard. You got to get out there. You got to build not a 7-0 lead, but you got to make it double digits early. You got to have this team thinking, okay, woe is me again, or, what's going to happen here? And again, maybe Detroit gets a little pass happy at that point, and then maybe the Eagles could tee off like they did in the Atlanta Falcons game in week 1. But I think the Eagles just got to get off to a fast start. I think they do have to commit to running the ball. I'm assuming Jordan Howard's going to get elevated from the practice squad. Then you got to mix and match Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell, Jordan Howard. And you really do got to show a commitment there. Nick did that last week. I was proud of the guy. And then Miles Sanders got hurt. And then I think that's where the whole overwhelm comments came in. He's like, well, what do I do now?
I think if Jared Goff is listening to this show, Jeff, he just had a Jeff Fisher flashback, and you just got him really upset. But the fact that he hasn't been able to win without Sean McVay is until you do it, people are going to keep bringing that up, and rightfully so. Look, it's an 0-17, but I want you to put your Nick Sirianni cap on, and you're done your gardening for the day, and you're game planning. You're sitting there and you're trying to say, okay, how am I going to go about beating the team that's going to bite your kneecaps for 60 minutes? And everybody's saying, well, you got to run the football. You don't have Miles Sanders. You got to be more physical. But you got to get Devonta Smith involved. They're playing 2 undrafted rookie cornerbacks. Not only rookie, undrafted. And, oh, by the way, one of them is hurt. So they may even be further down the depth chart. It's been TJ Hawkinson and DeAndre Swift in the passing game for the Lions. What's your game plan? What are you leaning on to beat the Detroit Lions from an offensive perspective?
Oh, well, from an offensive perspective, I would definitely attack their cornerbacks. I mean, you pretty much explained it right there, John. They just don't have anything right now. And their number 3 overall pick last year, Jeff, I can never pronounce his last name.
Okudah.
Yeah, Okudah. Yeah. He's one of those guys that I thought was a great pick for them, thought he was going to be really good. And lo and behold, he's been injured. And when he has been on the field, he hasn't been effective. And, Detroit's just a mess in the defensive secondary. I mean, Quandre Diggs is no, he's not even there anymore. I forgot he got traded. So
Yeah, he's in Seattle.
Yeah, this just shows you how much I know. I'm still thinking Darius Slay and Quandre Diggs are back there, and obviously
Tracy Walker is probably their best player.
Tracy Walker's still there. That's right. So
yeah, he's a decent safety.
Yeah, but for me, that whole secondary is just an absolute mess from the 2 Lions games I was able to watch this year. And to me, it's you attack them deep, you attack the middle of the field, and Jalen Hurts. This is a game where, dare I say it, you have to throw toward the middle of the field. You have to take your chances. If he throws 2 interceptions and 400 yards this week, so be it. I mean, I don't think he's going to actually throw for 400 yards, but I think this is a game where you got to challenge this Detroit team because they do have a good front four. Like, I know Trey Flowers is struggling, but Romeo Okwara was pretty good, and he's going to be a good challenge for them going forward. I mean, he was double-digit sacks last year.
Yeah, but he's hurt, Julian. But Julian's played well.
Julian's in there too. That's right. But
and Charles Harris has come out of nowhere. But
remember when the Eagles were interested in Charles Harris? Like,
he's actually they've actually been pretty good off the edges, which I think will surprise people. As far as they go with a 3-4 look. And it's pretty much been Flowers and Julian Okwara and Charles Harris. Those are the 3 guys. And they've gotten pretty good pressure. But you're right. Now, Jody's a big Devonta Smith guy. I'm not letting out any secrets here. And, I won't speak for him, and he can jump in if I'm wrong. But, he wants to see a breakout Devonta Smith game. And you see some other rookie receivers in this league putting up big numbers, most notably Jamar Chase. Here's the problem, though. You don't have the high-volume thrower. I've been saying this with Justin Jefferson and Jalen Reagor last year. Well, look who Justin Jefferson's quarterback is. Look who Jamar Chase's quarterback is. These are high-volume throwers. Devonta Smith is not going to put up big numbers in this offense. Am I wrong?
I thought he'd have a good year in spite of his shortcomings, or not his shortcomings, but Nick Sirianni's and Jalen Hurts's. But yeah, you're right, John. It's like we keep looking at what Jamar Chase has done and what Jalen Waddle's doing. Jalen Waddle is not in the best situation either between
that's true.
But he's got a lot of catches. I mean, to me, Devonta Smith has been okay. Hasn't been terrible. He's not a bust, but you see the potential there. The problem is, I just don't think he has enough weapons surrounding him. Like Jamar Chase, he is the alpha in Cincinnati's passing game, but you got guys like, T. Higgins in that offense, Tyler Boyd, CJ Uzomah, guys like that. You got guys around him. Like, who do you got for Devonta Smith? It's Dallas Goedert. Jalen Reagor, he only seems to show up when the games are over. So I don't know. I want to hear Jody's thoughts on this.
Yeah, I think he's had a disappointing year. I thought he was going to be better than this. And, by the way, this is the Philadelphia Eagles we're talking about, right? Well, the owner wants him to throw the ball 9 out of every 10 plays. So if the quarterback is not a high-volume thrower, somebody's screwing up somewhere. Maybe Mr.
Well, that's why they're going to get another quarterback in next year. It's just a matter of who, to me, at this point. It's just a matter of who.
Yeah, but who's it going to be? Malik Willis, Carson Strong? I mean, they're really...
Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett. Okay. NFL people are losing their minds over Kenny Pickett.
He did look good last week, but the 5th-year quarterback. Good luck with that. But listening to you 2 guys extol the virtues of all these players on the Lions, how the hell are they 0-7? If they got all these players that are playing so well,
how
are they 0-7? Field goal to beat them, and another guy kicked a 54-yard field goal. It's the only kick Greg Joseph's probably made in the last 3 weeks. I kid.
Yeah.
Oh.
No. Well, you're right, but I point out that they've actually, statistically gotten a lot of edge pressure, as I said, near the top of the league. I think they're 6th or 7th. Well, I'm just telling you. But I've also said, how bad the cornerbacks are. So you're only listening to one part of what I'm saying. There's plenty of bad on the Lions, a ton of bad. But there is more good than I think people realize. Like the passing game, they lead the league in yak yardage, which I told Jody, which I was shocked by. But that's not necessarily a good thing
Right.
because they throw
That I
everything
understand.
underneath.
Yeah,
And-
Goff
and-
doesn't take any shots. Not like he really has anybody to take shots downfield with. They
No.
thought it was going to be Rashad Perriman, Tyrell Williams. Well, Williams is hurt, and Perriman was cut. He's on the Bears now. So, I mean, really, your best receiver is Amon-Ra St. Brown. And he's getting, they're just putting zone coverage on him all day long. And, they're putting a guy over the top. So you're going to like Quintus Sif and guys like that. And they just don't have the weapons. It's a shame. But again, this is where I worry about the Eagles. TJ Hawkinson can go off on Sunday, just like, Foster Moreau did the week before. And, how I thought George Kittle was going to do it. If the Eagles are facing the Falcons now, who knows what Kyle Pitts would have done against them.
Yeah, Kyle, it's interesting. The Eagles have only stopped. Well, Kyle Pitts, I kind of put away because that was his first game and he just looked out of sorts. But they kind of stopped Travis Kelce and George Kittle, but they can't stop anybody else at tight end. Everybody else goes nuts at tight end. So maybe TJ Hawkinson is not at their level. So they put some effort into trying to stop him. But Jeff, that defense, I think, Nick Sirianni did Jonathan Gannon a solid this week because Jonathan Gannon was taking all the heat right up until the Flower comment. Now Jonathan Gannon's like, nobody cares about Jonathan Gannon, but they have to do something different. And you don't have a deep threats. There's no Tyreek Hill out there, as you mentioned, with Khalif Raymond and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Why you can't play your safeties in Ann Arbor? Where's Michigan playing? Michigan State, East Lansing, I guess.
East Lansing.
You can't play him in East Lansing. You don't need to play him in East Lansing. Do they do something different on the defensive side of the ball this week?
I think they have to make the adjustment. I think you got to listen to your Fletcher Coxes and your Darius Slays. I even think Steve Nelson's a veteran enough where you got to play the safeties in a little more. I think you got to say, you know what, if you're going to beat us, you're going to earn it, but you're going to earn it a different way, as Sean Fagan likes to point out. You're going to have to beat us with 70-yard passes down the field. You're not just going to dink and dunk your way into the end zone. It's just not going to happen. Khalif Raymond is going to have to beat us up top, or TJ Hawkinson is going to have to make 40, 50-yard catches. And, again, that's not exactly his game, but that's what you got to do. And I would like to see that. I know, dare I say it, because every Eagles fan says it on the planet, blitz more. And here's what I worry about them blitzing more. I don't know if they have the personnel on the front four to even do that right now. Like Derek Barnett has as many sacks as everybody in this chat combined, 0. So I'm looking at that, and I don't know what's going on with Josh Sweat. Maybe he's being put in a position kind of like Fletcher Cox. He's getting paid to get sacks, not cover screens. But again, this team just really misses certain players on offense and defense. Brandon Graham has definitely been one of those guys. I think that's really hurt what Jonathan Gannon is trying to do. So when Brandon Graham says he doesn't have the personnel, like he said on the postgame show a couple of weeks ago, I think he meant him per se.
Oh, yeah. I saw Brandon this week. He wasn't shy about it. He said at least he's getting an extra year.
JM, by the way, you were talking about high volume throwers, Kirk Cousins and Joe Burrows. Burrow this year, volume throw 24th in the NFL, 32 quarterbacks, 212. Kirk Cousins right now ranked 14th in the NFL most throws. Jalen Hurts 11th. He is more of a high volume thrower than
that's
either
not what I
Cousins
mean.
or
That's
Burrow.
not what I mean. To be a receiver, to be a big time receiver, you have to be with a quarterback that throws for a lot of yards. So I mean, Joe's a very young quarterback. So, and I brought this up the other day on the show. Joe's a very young quarterback, so you can project him. You see what he's going to be. So I went back in Cousins, and going back to his days in Washington, again, 70% for 4,100 yards. That's 2015. 2016, 67%, 4,900 yards. 2017, 64%, bad year for him, 4,000 plus yards. 2018, 70%, over 70, 4,300 yards. 2019, 69%, up near 4,000. 2020, 68%, 4,300. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Accuracy, throwing the football, volume. I'm not talking about individual. I'm not talking about where the football goes. You can go, like we just talked about with the Lions. You can throw the football to TJ Hawkinson, who has 38 receptions at the line of scrimmage, and he might go get 15 yards, whatever. When you're a receiver like Justin Jefferson, you're a receiver like Jamar Chase, yeah, you might go deep. You also might just get the ball on the hitch, but you're going to get the ball, and you're going to get the ball consistently. The Eagles don't get the ball consistently to receivers because the accuracy is not there from the quarterback. The decision-making is not there from the quarterback. They're just not a high-volume passing offense.
Perfect example was Sunday.
You and I don't share the definition of volume. Volume to me means number of throws. The quality of throws, the outcome of throws is something altogether. Volume describes how many times you throw it, number of throws. And Jalen Hurts has thrown it more than either of those two quarterbacks.
Well,
so that's why I didn't understand the point you're trying to make. Volume means number of throws.
But Jody, you're getting caught up in the semantics. Whatever the definition is, successful passer who throws for a lot of yards, who throws for a high completion percentage. So whatever definition you want to put on that, the Eagles don't have that, so the receivers can't be Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. Now, I'm not saying they have Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase because I don't think they have that player. But I think Devonta Smith has the opportunity to be that type of player. So whatever type of definition you want to put on what Kirk Cousins is, what Joe Burrow is, what quarterbacks like that are, whatever term you want to use, the Eagles don't have that. So until they get that, their best receiver is never going to be those types of receivers from a number standpoint.
Right.
That's
I
all
would
I'm
describe
saying.
it as quality of quarterback, not volume of quarterback. Volume means number of throws to me. All right, I got a question for Kerr before we let him run. How close are you with your buddy Cody Benjamin of CBS Sports?
I talk to Cody pretty much every day. He's a big Eagles fan too. So
is he?
Yeah, he is.
Explains it.
Does he live relatively close to here?
Cody actually grew up in Lancaster. He lives with his wife in Minnesota now. So
Minnesota, okay.
Yeah, he did the opposite of McMullen.
I need you to pass this along to Cody for me. Tell him that if the Eagles trade Derek Barnett and get a conditional third-round pick, like he wrote on CBS, I will drive to Minnesota. I will take he and his wife out to his restaurant of choice within a 50-mile radius of his house. If he is correct that Derek Barnett gets traded for a conditional third-round pick. Was he drinking when he wrote that column? Was he enjoying the best Minnesota brew he could get his hands on? What the hell was he thinking?
I actually said to him, like, Cody, you think Derek Barnett's tradable? I think they could just cut him and no one would want him.
Yeah, no, I said to Jody yesterday when he brought it up, I said he's probably an Eagles fan. He's probably hoping to get a yeah, I mean, Derek Barnett. I think Derek Barnett's a better player than Jody does, and probably you, Jeff. But he's not getting you from the contract alone. He's not getting you a third-round pick, and he's not. It's not. You can look at it two ways if you're the Eagles. I mean, he's not going to be here next year, so whatever you get might be a positive, or a 6th or 7th round pick is not worth it, so you might as well play out the string. I could see either argument.
Yeah, so I did like 3 trade possibilities for the Eagles, more of players they could sell. And, I didn't even mention Derek Barnett. I didn't mention him. I didn't mention Ryan Kerr because I'm like, they're not even worth it. It was Andre Dillard and Steve Nelson. They were the two. And I don't even think they should trade Steve Nelson. I basically put reasons why you don't trade him because you don't trust anybody behind him right now. You don't trust Zach McPherson. Do you really want to move Avonte Maddox out of his comfort zone in the slot on the outside? No. So I'm like, I mean, if you can get something of value for him, sure, but I wouldn't do it. Like, Dillard was the only one. And I even threw Miles Sanders in there just because just for the heck of it. And, because I had to mention 3, and I'm like, they shouldn't do this either. I really don't want them to do this, but I was like, well, look, Nick doesn't really value running the ball as much as I thought he did. And the one time he did, Miles gets hurt, and Miles probably isn't worth anything now for 2022. So I did like a 2023 pick. And I'm like, I get this team wants to sell, but you don't sell players. That was basically the gist of the article. Like, Andre Dillard was the only player I thought they could get something for it over the next couple days.
All right, Jeff Kerr, we need a pick. Eagles, Lions. How do you see it coming out?
Oh, God, you guys are going to hate me. I'm picking Detroit.
No.
I got to do it. There's too much karma here. Jared Goff never won a game without Sean McVay. The Eagles are a dead flower. Yeah, I know. I'm beating this. And they're due for what? The Eagles haven't beaten Detroit since the Snow Bowl, right? I think that's their curse. They can't beat the Lions. And I don't know.
I don't think that's anybody's curse, Jeff. That can't beat the Lions. Everybody beats the Lions.
If the Eagles lose to the Lions, you guys are going to love me on this show Monday, because I'm just
we will have you back on Monday, because J Mac's got to hightail it back out of Detroit. He'll be coming in under persona as well, because if the Eagles lose, he'll be burying his head just like yours truly, who's picking an Eagle win. You can hold your head high because you pick a lot. But if you're here on Monday, I am going to abuse you if the Eagles win by double digits, Kerr. Remember, write it down.
So.
Jody Mack said Eagles by double digits.
Hey, I got my first L of the season. I thought for sure they were going to beat Vegas, and then I thought they were going to beat Detroit. They'd be 4-4 to get destroyed by the Chargers. I already got everything mapped up in my head here. So, I thought the second half of the year they were going to turn around, and they still can, but I mean, hey, if they're 3-5 after 8, the way things are going, I think I take that.
Fair enough. Jeff, thanks, buddy. Appreciate you jumping on board. We will see you Monday here on Birds 365.
See you guys Monday.
Thanks, Jeff.
Jeff Kerr.
By the way, Jody, before we hit that last break, I do find it ironic that through the entire offseason, like, I get ripped for being so negative. I say, well, Jalen Hurts has got a lot to prove. I just get ripped. And then we're in the season. I'm like, well, it's not as bad as you think it is. And I just get ripped for it. I just get ripped for not going to the extremes. Everything's great in the off season when you're not seeing the team playing. And then in the season, fire this guy, cut this guy, cut that. It's unbelievable.
All right. And we'll see if John McMullen will get ripped again, because he needs to get on the official record. Yeah, he made some pick at PhillyVoice.com. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is John McMullen's pick right here on Birds 365. Come back, find out if he's taking Lions or Eagles next.